Hey, everybody. Happy Mother's Day out there if you didn't recognize that song. Okay, I tried. Happy Sunday, everyone. It is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, everybody out there. My dearly departed mother of 4 years ago. Love you, Mom, or whatever. But wherever you may be, whether you're a mother or a non-mother or just a normal human being, we're glad that you found us. I'm going to keep it rather short tonight. I just wanted to get something off my chest. And so brace yourselves. If I throw a few F-bombs, this really makes me angry, dudes. And it should make you very angry as well. A couple of quick announcements. Please donate if you can. I have to ask, dudes. I'm really sorry, but I just do. The last I checked, we needed around 14 or 15 people to donate $10 or more so that we can raise all the money we need this week, like by tomorrow, for current expenses. It's really difficult for us to raise money, guys. Just please donate something and make it easier on us, if you would, so I can shut up about it. You know what? Forget all the other announcements. I'm just going to get right into it, dudes. I want to talk about the new bankruptcy process tonight, and ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, if you have any questions or comments and I can see them on either Facebook or Twitter, by all means, throw them out. And if I can see them, I will very happily respond to them. So last year, the Department of Education, and there's a long story behind this, we pushed the Department of Education very hard to stop opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court. And I had a good commitment from people, what I thought was a strong commitment from people like James Cavall and Richard Cordray and even Joe Biden's campaign manager, that they were going to try and do this. Well, last year, right before the election, they announced a new bankruptcy process. And the idea initially was that they would stop opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court. And this is not that at all. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but what they've done is essentially kept everything the same. The only difference is that instead of a bankruptcy judge determining your undue hardship, which is an essentially impossible test to meet as it's currently understood by the courts, they've sucked that process into the bowels of the Department of Education, Department of Justice, so that unelected, unappointed officials, not judges, determine your undue hardship. Now, they and their contractors, like ECMC, are the very same people who have fought tooth and nail to not discharge loans in bankruptcy. These are the very same cast of characters who have opposed borrowers in the past for doing things like taking their kids to McDonald's on the weekends, or having children who would soon be able to work, like 14 or 15-year-old kids that would soon be able to work and help their mothers pay their student loans soon. So the Department of Education has never had any desire or any intentions of discharging student loans through bankruptcy. And this new process does absolutely nothing to improve that. First of all, and these are very important points. I should have done bullet points and a slideshow and everything, but just 3 quick points. First of all, you still have to file for bankruptcy to find out if you qualify for this undue hardship. There's like an attestation form that you need to fill out, this other stuff, instead of arguing it before a judge. So you still have to file for bankruptcy and all the pain and shame and expense that comes with. You still have to file what's called an adversarial proceeding, which costs several thousand of dollars additional to the filing fee for bankruptcy. So if you pay $1,000 to file for bankruptcy, well, you're going to pay $3,000 or $4,000 to do an adversarial proceeding. And undue hardship, which is that thing I said earlier that's almost impossible to prove for most people, still remains intact. So from the borrower's perspective, essentially nothing has changed. You still have to file for bankruptcy. You still have to pay thousands of dollars more to do an adversarial proceeding. And you still have an extremely low likelihood of getting a discharge because undue hardship. So really, guys, this thing is not only not an improvement, it's a huge harm. It's going to wind up being a huge harm on the people, because all this thing succeeded in doing was giving the bankruptcy attorneys a new golden carrot, a new carrot to dangle in front of the nose of student loan borrowers and say, hey, it just got easier to discharge your student loans in bankruptcy. And so the people still have to pay thousands of dollars more and still face an overwhelming unlikelihood of getting their loans discharged through bankruptcy. I mean, shit, this thing's been in place they announced it last year, and here we are nearly halfway through this year. And I've only heard of one bankruptcy case where they got a discharge. One. That's all I've heard of. There may have been a few dozen, but guys, we're talking about nothing. Like in an average year, 150,000 people with student loans file for bankruptcy. And if we're counting the number of discharges on like two hands, we're talking about a negligibly small percentage of people. Undue hardship still remains, guys. This is nothing good. In fact, it's everything bad. You know, I keep thinking back to the story of the Nelson family in Oklahoma. You know, this family, they were just wrecked by student loans, and the father, they had 6 children in Oklahoma, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And I'm not going to bore you with the details, but you can Google for yourself. Nelson, student loans, bankruptcy, and Broken Arrow, and you can read the story for yourself. But these people got sucked in, apparently, to a bankruptcy attorney claiming he thought he could get their loans discharged in bankruptcy. Student loans were 94% of this family's debts, 94%. So student loans were almost all of their debt. So obviously they filed for bankruptcy in the hope/expectation, probably due to whatever their lawyer told them, that they were going to get their loans discharged in bankruptcy. Well, that didn't happen. They were denied, like the overwhelming majority of everyone who files for bankruptcy with student loans is denied. And what resulted was probably the most horrible family tragedy that I've even heard about over the past, I don't know, 10 years or so. It's just absolutely horrific what happened with this family. And, you know, if they hadn't been duped into thinking they could get their loans discharged in bankruptcy when that was not true, I don't think that tragedy would have happened. Or better yet, if we had the same bankruptcy rights as every other borrower for every other loan has, the tragedy would, I am sure, I would be willing to bet, I guess, the tragedy would not have happened. It wouldn't have. So guys, you know, we're seeing a whole bunch of people in the swamp. A guy like Matthew Bruckner, Bruckner, a professor at some Washington, D.C. based university, I believe. We're seeing people like the groups like the National Consumer Law Center NCLC, they're essentially running propaganda for the federal government, touting this new bankruptcy process as a benefit, and thereby encouraging people to file. And I'm at a loss to describe how disgusting that is. I will say, like NCLC, people from NCLC, like Deanne Lunan, they have gone to great length in years past to kill our push for the actual return of full, free, and fair standard bankruptcy rights to student loans. We've seen them up front, up close. So these charlatans, these propagandists, they're not, and they claim to be fighting for student loan borrowers. They're not fucking fighting for you. They're just fighting to get their names in the paper and for their own institutional and career aims. These are very sophisticated, elitist Harvard people at NCLC, at least at NCLC, certainly. But anyone telling you that this new bankruptcy process is at all worthwhile, worth spending several thousands of dollars and filing for bankruptcy to find out, they're completely full of shit. So they're probably either self-interested bankruptcy attorneys that just want to cash in on that adversarial proceeding for $3,000 or $4,000 fee, or they're just trying to protect the Department of Education and this disgusting, unconstitutional, catastrophically failed, predatory loan scam that they've foisted upon the citizens. We do not have to take this shit, ladies and gentlemen. We've put up with this for long enough. The Founding Fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws, aka uniform bankruptcy rights in the Constitution. They also called for equal protection under the law in the Bill of Rights. Well, bankruptcy has been uniquely stripped from student loans, and student loan borrowers are uniquely not given the same protection as everyone else under the bankruptcy laws. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't believe the bullshit. There's so much mis and disinformation going on out there against us. It's disgusting. Particularly from some of the groups that call themselves borrower advocates. It's fucking nonsense, guys. Like, this group here is for real. I guarantee you that we always tell the truth, and we don't spin something in whichever way we have some secret motivation for it to go. No. We don't do deals with the bad guys. We don't make money on the side. We're not begging rich people to fund our nonprofit. We don't have any of that bullshit going on like all the other groups do. We tell the truth. And it's just difficult when we seem to be the only people telling the truth on this. At least if you're on like the internet or like Twitter in particular, so much bullshit out there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't believe it. Just please don't. The bad guys. And in that group, I include these student advocacy groups, so-called fucking AstroTurf, are actually working for the other side. Just don't let what these groups want you to do, probably more than anything, some more than others, but I think most, they want you doing nothing. They don't want you fighting. They don't want you standing up for yourself and calling out their bullshit. They want you sitting there hanging on their every word, waiting, watching, worrying, wringing your hands, and doing nothing. That serves their purposes. That does not serve your purposes, and it does not serve our purposes. This is a working, fighting group here on this group. If you want actual, not pretend, student loan justice, we're it, guys. If there was another group out there, I'd join it. There is not. We're it. So, I don't know what to tell you people. Just, I'm sorry that you're stuck in this trap along with me and 38 million other people in the country. But when you sit there and let yourself be hypnotized and discouraged and demobilized and placated by all these fucking hucksters all over the internet and on the airwaves, on television, and in written print through the mainstream media, well, it's not going to go well for us, guys. It's not. And if you're like me, if you've spent the majority of your adult life under these unconstitutional, viciously predatory, under this loan scam, try to control my temper here. But at what point do you say, fucking enough? Come on, guys. Like, how many more years are we going to do this? We've been doing this for 18 years now. If bankruptcy would have been returned to these loans the first couple of years that we were doing this, which is what I was expecting, quite frankly, we would not be here today. The problem would be solved. The price of college would be small. Lending would be small. The overall debt balance would be small, probably in the $500-600 billion rather than $2 trillion or even less. This problem would be solved. We wouldn't be here sweating bullets like we are now. And if you're counting on the Democrats to solve this problem, you are counting on the wrong dog. And if you're counting on Republicans to do something, again, you're counting on the wrong dog. Both parties have betrayed us, guys. They've shown that they can be pushed, and we have to push them because that's really the only choice that we have at this point. The loans are going to be turned back on in a couple of months. And the collection industry is fucking drooling. The student debt collection industry is drooling. And they want to take everything they can possibly get from you. And they haven't been paid. They haven't been paid well in years now, 3 years. So do you want to face the reality of those turning the loans being turned back on, and you remaining naked and vulnerable and afraid and with no power whatsoever? Or do you want to face the turning on of these loans in a couple of months with at least the toothpick of power, the floor of leverage of bankruptcy back on your side? What would you rather? Well, I hope that you see the logic in wanting that second thing. Now, we came very close last year to getting a meaningful, very good bankruptcy bill passed. And at the very last minute, the Democrats betrayed us. The Republicans were pretty much never on our side, but that's always been true. The Democrats betrayed us. The Democrats had everything they needed. They had a great bill, all the votes necessary, all the support, and they decided at the last minute to screw us. So, like I said, guys, if you think you can count on either party to fight for us, you're wrong. If you think you can count on the goon squad at Forbes magazine to be fighting for us behind the scenes, you're fucking wrong. Those people want nothing more than to keep this loan scam going because they're making money off of it. And I can say that about other groups, other advocacy groups in this space. Any group that isn't fighting and fighting hard for bankruptcy, that pretty much tells the tale, guys. We can be begging Joe Biden or the next president forever to do loan cancellation. And as long as the threat of bankruptcy remains gone, what we'll get is the nonsense that we've already gotten. So I don't know about you, but I'm like, what is that one film? Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. I'm getting too old for this shit, ladies and gentlemen. Are you not? Also, so just be warned, guys. Almost everything you see in the media is bullshit about the student loan problem. Sorry to have to say that, but it's true. Your energies are far better expended helping us fight. And the best thing that you can do to get working and rolling on that, and I pray that you do, because we will get nowhere without you, is going to our website, studentloanjustice.org, looking at our daily actions. We do them pretty much every day, at least 4 or 5 times a week lately, probably more coming up. Just do our daily actions. They take very little time to complete, like 30 seconds or a minute most days. Sometimes maybe a little bit more, but usually you can do our daily actions in literally less than a minute. Now, we are the largest group of citizens in the country fighting this battle, guys. So we got that going for us. But, even with 1.4 million people in our group, if nobody's doing anything, then we're fucked. It takes more than just signing a petition to get this problem solved. You got to get your knuckles a little muddy and a little bloody on this group. And if you have no intentions of doing that, then you should scram, because we don't want you here. There's many people on this group that are working very hard every single day, even doing our daily actions, hitting up the bad guys on Twitter, calling, getting us into meetings with their Congress people and their senators. A lot of people are doing work on this group, guys, and they don't appreciate you if you're not. They can't carry your weight for you. I'm speaking for a lot of people when I say that. Hey, Lauren Ward is with us. I'm gonna get to your comments now. Oh, we have quite a few comments. It would appear, if this is. Oh, no. Let me do another refresh. I may not be able to see your comments tonight, guys, and if that's true, let me just apologize in advance. Hey, Evie Porter's with us. I see 2 comments. I think we have more than that, but I just can't see them. Evie Porter's with us tonight. Hey, Evie, how are you? So frustrating. Right, exactly. And like I said earlier, Evie, instead of waiting, watching, worrying, wondering what they're gonna do, we got to make this justice happen for us. So, don't waste your energy waiting and being frustrated and angry. Channel your frustration with us in a direction that actually will lead to actual student loan justice. And that means 2 things. That means the return of bankruptcy to all student loans, first and foremost. But ultimately, they are going to have to cancel certainly federally owned student loans. They're going to have to cancel them broadly, widely, meaningfully, maybe even deeply when we get the threat of bankruptcy back. So the thing that we really need to focus on is, and it's the strongest argument out there, the founders called for bankruptcy in the Constitution, is simply getting bankruptcy rights returned. Once that happens, that's the domino. That is the domino. And this new bankruptcy process that the Department of Education is now bragging about is absolutely not that. Got to be smarter than this, guys. The swamp is, they're strong. The swamp is the swamp, right? For every swamp creature that's against us, we probably have 10,000 or 50,000 normal people. We can overwhelm the swamp like that. But it, like everything that's worth fighting for, it requires you to help us fight. Hey, Aaron Cooper says they don't care about people, just money and power. Right. So true, Ann. But here's the good news on that. We, the student loan borrowers, actually have the money. We hold the gold. There's the golden rule in Washington, D.C., not other places, but Washington. He who owns the gold makes the rule. That is the golden rule for the swamp people in Washington, D.C. and Wall Street. Well, who owns that $1.8 trillion in gold? We do. If that's going to come from anywhere, and it's not, but if it were to come from anywhere, it would come from our pockets and nowhere else. So we hold the money. And therefore, we hold the power. So this student loan catastrophe could have a very clean, quick, good ending, which is what we're fighting for. But it could also have a very bad ending with like stories like the Nelson family in Oklahoma, Broken Arrow, Google it. Student loans bankruptcy, Nelson family, Broken Arrow. Could have a very bad ending like that for many people on a much larger scale. What we do between now and whenever they announce that stupid Supreme Court verdict matters hugely, because when they turn these loans back on, guys, either we're going to have bankruptcy back on our side or we're not. The first thing is the good, clean, quick solution. Also, death of the lending system, but the lending system's failed, guys. It's just not going to come back. But like I said, this could have a clean ending, could have a dirty ending. Whichever way the Supreme Court case goes, frankly, I really don't care which way that Supreme Court case goes. It's just not that significant. If you've only got $10,000 or $20,000 in student loan debt, you're not on this group. And anyways, I'm just going to leave it at that, guys. So I hope this conversation tonight didn't bring you down, particularly if you're a mother. Happy Mother's Day again. I hope that what I've said encourages you and inspires you, because look what this group has gotten done over the past 3 years, dudes. We went from begging Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar and all the John Delaney, many other Democratic candidates for president. We went from humping around Iowa, begging these people at little tiny rallies, to here today. At least on paper, we actually got a student loan cancellation by executive order, which started with this group, believe it or not. Nobody was calling for student loan cancellation by executive order until we started our petition at change.org/cancel student loans. That all started on this group. I kid you not. And everybody out there really deserves maybe a pat on the back or something for that. We're not big on back pats here in this group, guys. And I'm sorry, that's, we just don't have the resources to be cheerleading people and we just don't do that, guys. This is your battle. These are your loans. We're the only group that's actually fighting this battle in the way that will actually solve the problem. And we need you. That's the most important thing. And you need us, and you need everyone with student loans to know about this group, join this group, and help us fight. I mean, how obvious is it to you? Look around. And I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm just going to state that as true. And I'm very happy to defend that at a later date. If you don't believe me, Google us. You'll hopefully the truth that is coming through my voice somehow resonates with your bullshit detector or something. But hopefully by the same token, hopefully you can smell the bullshit by now too, because pardon my French, it's just everywhere and everywhere. And this is starting to get kind of scary, guys. I'm 53 years old now. I've been doing this for 18 years, and I don't know how much longer I can do this. Truthfully. So, hey, one more question from Ann Cooper, I see. She says, Alan, do you really think they will turn the loans back on before the 2024 campaign season, which is already underway? I think it's very likely, Ann. And the reason I think this time is probably different from previous times is that Joe Biden based his cancellation upon the fact that there was a national emergency going on. And in fact, he based the pause extensions based on the fact that there was a national emergency going on. Well, that's done. COVID is officially over now. And so if Biden wanted to continue the pause, they would have to do some I just don't see them doing that. And quite frankly, I don't think the Biden people want to keep pausing these loans. The Biden administration never wanted to cancel loans. Joe Biden I'm sorry, but he's just a rat bastard on this issue. In fact, among all living, serving politicians, I'm sorry to say this if you're a Democrat, but it's true, Joe Biden deserves more credit than any living, serving politician on the planet for the student loan scam. Going back to his days as a junior senator in 1975 and 6 and 7, actually, when he was a surprisingly key guy in getting the first restrictions placed on bankruptcy for student loans. Doesn't he want votes? And follows yeah, of course Biden wants votes. In the perfect scenario for Biden is the Supreme Court denying this student loan cancellation, because then Joe Biden can say, shoot. I tried, ladies and gentlemen. I really tried. You saw me try. I'm still going to keep on trying. And they're going to string us out through the 2024 elections. I mean, that's what the Biden people want. Are they going to get it? Who knows? I actually predicted a couple weeks ago that if you really take a very sober, analytical look at this problem, I think the Supreme Court will affirm his loan cancellation, and I think they'll probably put language in the opinions that something to the effect that, yeah, we're going to do this one. It was an emergency, fine. we are not going to affirm any future student loan cancellations. So I kind of think that's what the swamp wants, because they desperately want these loans turned back on, guys. You know, we're paying these people 85, we, the borrowers, and don't believe anything you hear about, oh, you people are a bunch of deadbeats. That's bullshit. We, the borrowers, were paying back $85 billion a year before COVID. That's just 10 measly $billion shy of what they lend out every year. So the government was making huge money on this loan scam before the pandemic, and they want to get back to that. They want to get back to that. And it's our job on this group to make sure that that never happens. So we need your help, guys. These are your loans. This is absolutely and truly your battle. So I think I'm going to leave it there at that. But again, let me just say Happy New Year's. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you will send this around to everyone you know. I hope you will spread the word about our group. Because like I said, guys, we're literally it. If there was another group actually fighting this battle, I would join that group, but there's not. It's us. We are that group. So you can't unhear that. And if you're new to the group, I think most people who've been at this for a while, they will tell you it feels very good to fight this fight. It's cathartic. Like everywhere we go, we make very high profile, college professors and college presidents and leading politicians. We make them look really stupid. And we do it by doing nothing more than simply telling the truth. So there's something good about that, and I hope that you see it. And I'm sorry we don't have, a Washington, D.C. address. Sorry we don't have any kind of real funding, save for just personal gifts to literally keep our lights on. Sorry we don't have, a legal team, marketing team. We don't have any of that stuff, guys. We're just normal people. What we do have are people, and that is really all that we need, dudes. We are so strong, you have no idea, but it only matters when you help us flex that muscle. Your livelihood rides in the balance of the next few months, certainly. So I just hope you'll take it seriously. I hope you'll tell everyone you know about this group. I hope that you will spread the word. I hope that you will check in frequently going forward. And I hope more than anything that you will do our daily actions. So I'll be back tomorrow, guys. Good luck. Again, if you're new, welcome. Tell a friend. We're it. And we're fighting, and we need them. So good luck. Godspeed. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless everyone. And again, happy Mother's Day to everybody, all the mothers out there.